You ask me what it feels like to be a freak.
Hey RC fans, Mempey here. Today I'm going to show you how I did my VXL Twin upgrade on my Summit. Here's how I did it with a list of part numbers and prices, all from Tower Hobbies. So you can order it and do it yourself if you want to. First off, I'll start with the wheel and tire setup I put on here. These are the Summit Geode wheels. I just sandblasted the chrome off of them because I could, and painted them black. These are ProLine masher tires. The thing about these tires and wheels, when you do this combo, it doesn't seem like the wheels and tires are going to mesh up right. What I did is I just glued the outside bead, and then once it was good and dry, and I flipped it over to do the inside, what I noticed is there's about an inch gap in between the tire bead and the wheel itself. So what I did is I just set it on a roll of tape that was relatively the same size diameter as the wheel, and was able to push it down enough to get a good layer of glue in there, some CA glue, and work that bead into the rim. Okay, now let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. I'll take a look under the hood here and what I've done. Basically, there's two VXLs in here, two ESCs, and two motors. I did the motor setup the same as the brushed eRevo is. I actually got the motor plate, which is part number 5690, which is right in here where the two motors mount. One is mounted backwards, and I'll get to the wiring of that in a second. I got the cover plate for the dual motors. That's part number 5677. Of course, the VXLs, motors themselves, I got the full systems, so that is part number 3350X, 3350X. I'm running 19 tooth pinion gears in here. That's part number 24192419, and I'm running the stock gear, spur gear, which is 68 tooth. Those are all the Traxxas part numbers I got off of Tower Hobbies. The way I mounted the one of the ESCs is I just took my favorite and Jetlag's favorite, those aluminum yardsticks. I'll move it around here so you can kind of see how I did it. It's just a piece of that aluminum yardstick. I drilled some holes in here. I just lined it up with the ESC. Drilled holes in there for the mount itself. I do recommend double-sided taping that. The other ESC is mounted where you would normally mount the AVX2 or Mamba if you wanted to do that. It's just using the regular mount that's on the chassis there. The only other thing that you're going to need, which I do not have a part number for, is your basic Y harness. Just a 6-inch Y harness, no big deal, nothing special about it. Just a plain old Y harness. I think this was $5.99 at Hobby Shop, but you can get them online pretty cheap. I wouldn't get anything longer than a 6-inch just because you're going to have a lot of extra wires that you don't really need. How do you wire a motor to rotate backwards? Since these are counter-rotating motors, a motor that is reversed, it's very simple to reverse the polarity of that motor. Is you just switch two of the battery leads. Notice that the white and blue lead coming from the motor are plugged into the white and blue leads from the ESC, but they are switched. That's how you get a motor to rotate backwards. The yellow lead is the same. On the rear ESC connection is as usual, white, blue, and yellow to white, blue, and yellow. One cool thing that I found out about doing this setup, I actually did this setup in my Villain, is when you have these ESCs hooked into a Y harness, it's kind of hard to see here, the Y harness is down in here, and that wire harness, the single end just goes into your receiver box, into your channel 2. Everything works exactly the same as a single motor. You just have two ESCs and two motors. But one thing I found out when you hook the two up together, the two ESCs up together, when you turn one on through the Y harness and into the receiver, it turns the other ESC on too. So you don't have to worry about turning both of them on at the same time, or don't need to turn one on before the other, or anything like that. You turn one on and it turns the other one on, and they're ready to go. And that's pretty much it. That's how I did it. I really like it. Jetlag's done it to his, and he really likes it too. It works really well. The motors don't get hot. I think with that gearing, the 19 tooth pinion, the 68 tooth spur, I think it's a good gear set. It still has plenty of torque, yet it still has plenty of speed. I really like this setup. It works good. I'll show you some of it running here in just a few minutes.
In the mouth of madness.